This is a production of KMmedia.pro. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. Our goal is simple: to explore evolving ideas one conversation at a time. So come on over into our world. I know you'll like it, because on today's show, it's Friday. It's Friday, all day Friday. I hope you are well today, and I haven't even looked outside today. Nathan, what's the weather like outside today, sir?
Typical Seattle, cloudy, gray, and wet. Nothing really changed since I left.
Really? And
it was kind of the same where I went, too, so it's kind of like cloudy, gray, and wet everywhere.
I know. Have you been following what's been going on in the news of the last couple of days?
I've actually been on a little vacation, and part of that is turning off the news. So tell me what happened.
There is, I've never seen anything like it. Now, think of a weather balloon,
mm-hmm.
and you think of the balloon where the helium is, and it rises up, and then you got a little basket underneath it, and that's where the people are.
Yep.
There
a hot
is
air balloon.
A hot air balloon. There is a balloon that is floating about Montana, and you can look it up on CNN or whatever. It's just right there. You can look it up on, and it is floating at 80,000 feet, and it looks like, do you remember Star Wars?
Yes.
The Death Star?
Uh-huh.
It looks just like that.
Really? So it's got like a little, like cutouts from when it got damaged or was being constructed, or are we talking about a complete Death Star?
You're talking about a completed one that is floating over Montana, that is floating at like 80,000 feet. And they think it's from China.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. So I was just in an airplane yesterday. I should have been looking up instead of down.
If you could see through the ceiling, they don't have like places where you can look up.
Directly up.
What do you
but
call
I could
those
still
things?
Probably look out the side window and look up from there and maybe catch a glimpse of it.
If you were in the right spot, I suppose you could.
Unfortunately, it was a night flight, so it'd probably been hard to see anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what's interesting is that they were talking about that it is mobile. It can move on its own. So it's got its own set of propulsion, and it's floating at 80,000 feet up in the air.
Wow.
It's pretty interesting what technology can do that we don't know what it can do yet. So I just thought I'd mention that because it was just that's kind of hot and heavy in the news, and I just thought I'd throw that out there. If anybody wants to go find out more about that, they can go to CNN or to some news outlets. It doesn't look like, just so to make everybody calm down a bit, it doesn't look like it's a dangerous situation at all. So
I know they just had that comet go over. It was like the night of the 31st into the 1st. There was a comet.
Yes. And that one was not all that far away.
We were talking about it because it was my niece's first birthday that day, and it was like, oh, there must be a comet coming to wish you a happy birthday.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and it may never be back. That one was the last time it was here was 50,000 years ago.
Wow.
I don't know how that they know that. How do they know that? You're a smart guy.
Just trajectory and flight path. It was like, okay, the way, like the angles that this comet is traveling and all the physics and gravity, all that science-y type stuff, we're able to make calculations and say, oh, about 50,000 years.
You would need algebra or calculus to figure that part out, and I've got none of those.
And since there's not really any like weather patterns up in space, it's pretty easy to make those calculations, I think, if you know what the formulas are.
I suppose. I have no earthly
I'm just guessing. I ain't no scientist.
Yeah. You also aren't much of a linguistic person if you ain't know nothing.
Anyway, so, well, I was in Kentucky, okay? Their baseball team is called the Y'alls.
Is it really?
They have the Florence Y'alls. It's like they're kind of not like minor league, but like a semi-pro baseball team, like collegiate or something like that. And they're called the Florence Y'alls.
Oh, brother. I tell you, we stereotype ourselves sometimes. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes.
And
It's easy
anyway,
to pick up on those things when you travel to somewhere else as well.
exactly. Now I had said on Wednesday that Matthew Stapley was going to be here, and I lied because he called up today and he's not feeling well. He had a terrible 24 hours. He didn't go into details. I have no idea what it is, but so he is not going to be here today. But when I just love it when he and Dana Parker are together because they're really are cool and stuff. And by the way, can you hear that noise in the background?
Something like a breathing noise, or like.
No, it's a big ass truck outside my
Oh,
house.
I didn't hear the truck.
Oh, well,
Maybe I heard it like breaking or something. I don't know. When I call it like the little farts when their exhaust goes. I think that's maybe what I heard.
a little exhaust fart. Well, speaking of which, why don't we bring Dana on? No, I'm kidding.
Wow, that was fascinating. That whole conversation. We went from so many things. The weather, science, comets, truck farts.
I was waiting for you to say that one.
I didn't know that you could say that, and apparently you can say it on the radio because you didn't die for the button. So
yeah.
So good, Dana. How are you?
I'm so good today. It's Friday. It's Friday, and I get to be with you and Nathan. I'm a happy girl.
I know it's a really cool to have you here. By the way, Nathan, tell everybody and what we are doing now this year that we have never done before.
We are now on video streaming, which is going to be available to you on Facebook or YouTube, and that's on both the KKNW and Positive Talk Radio platform. So if you just go to KKNW's Facebook page or Positive Talk Radio's Facebook page, and the same goes with YouTube, you can find our show live streaming, and you can also go to 1150kknw.com. We just kind of embed that stream over on there as well to make it nice and easy, so you can catch all of our shows that are on YouTube easily on the KKNW website. And
year to date, they've been downloaded quite a little bit, haven't they?
They have. It's really a great place to be.
It is indeed. So we're on their stuff. They're on, and we're also on our own stuff, and we've got a lot going on. So it's really cool. By the way, if you want to go to kmmedia.pro and join us and sign up for our newsletter and the other things that we're doing there, you can get a calendar for free. You can get discounts on various products that we're offering and that kind of stuff. So I was required by Holly to say that. So it's because she's in charge, you know. So, yeah. But you know, Dana, I thought what we would do is, because you think that a guy like Matthew that is, doing well and he seems like a very put together guy and stuff, but even he, and he's a very spiritual man, but even he has got moments in time when things are not right and you get smacked upside the head by life. I know that has happened to you in the past, and actually in the recent past. Mm-hmm. And without going into too much detail, why do you think that is? Because everybody's is asking, like, but I'm trying to do the best I can. I'm meditating and I'm doing a journal and I'm doing a gratitude thing, and then something comes up and just kicks my ass. Why is that still happening to me? Does that make
it's such a good question. Yeah, totally. And it actually, for me, is a really simple answer, and but maybe there's a lot of complexity to it. But I think we set really unrealistic expectations, and it's more of a training that we get into of, if I do everything correctly, then I should get XYZ. Life should be perfect, which is never the case. And this is why I tell people all the time, you're doing so good at this human thing. So good. It's messy and chaotic and crazy and beautiful and magical and wonderful and good in so many ways. It's all of it. And so I think it comes down to your why behind you're doing what you're doing that will make a difference in how you feel when you get knocked down. Because I think there's lots of reasons why we get knocked down that are so valuable, that nothing else, that just going through life and everything being perfect and great and everything going our way wouldn't teach us. When we go through those hard things, it shows us more of who we really are, and actually, to me, requires us to let go of what we're really not, which sometimes we define ourselves by what we're really not.
Isn't it kind of our perception of who we are, and perception of when things happen, and as they're going to happen to all of us,
Mhm.
and we perceive them to be a negative thing and an awful thing rather than a learning experience thing. It creates a whole different thing. By the way, I wanted to make sure everybody knows who doesn't know who Dana is. Dana
Yes.
is one of the most remarkable coaches, and she works predominantly with women because women listen better than men do. And she is a great coach. She's intuitive in what she does. She leads seminars. She leads large groups of people. She's been doing this for a long time, and she's got 4 kids and all that kind of stuff. So she's a remarkable lady. She doesn't come here to for me to bother nearly enough, and so I'm going to try and fix that. But
I love it.
But she keeps on doing and the human thing, which is you've got the same kind of stuff going on as everybody else does.
Yes, we all do. And we all deserve to keep that in perspective. When we look at people in the media, when we put people in our lives up on this pedestal, we deserve to keep them off the pedestals and just keep our mindset in check of this person is human too. This person has human flaws too. And actually, Kevin, this was a reframe for me just in the last couple of years as I look at some of the most incredible thought leaders that I really look up to. You know, Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks. These are some incredible people that I look up to that did really courageous things to make a difference and to speak up about things in this world that they wanted to see change and to see a difference. And I actually think for me, reading about them, bringing them to this human place where they all had doubts. They all felt scared sometimes. They all were worried at times. They all second guessed themselves at different times. And so when I go through those moments, it's like, oh, Dana, you're like them. You're like those incredible thought leaders that are making a difference in this world. You're going to navigate through this and you're going to get back up and you're going to keep moving. And to really humanize and to normalize that human experience that's like a roller coaster, up and down, right? We have our moments of really great flow and everything's going our way, and then moments where it's like, whoa, life just knocks you right down, flat on your butt. And those moments, to stay in that perspective of this is normal. Every single incredible person that we look up to in this world has been through hard things. Everyone.
I don't think that you get to be where they are and the type of people they were or are without going through rough times, without going
Agreed.
through tough things. Because that's the only way you learn. If your life is puppy dog tails and cupcakes your whole life,
sunshine and rainbows,
sunshine and rainbows, and everything's easy, then you don't understand what it's like. Well, let me give a perfect example. That's why we came here, because home, which is what I call heaven, home is where everything is perfect and there's nothing there but love, and so it's easy. Everybody has a great time. Everybody loves each other and cares. And so you don't get, so we come here so that we can experience guck, ick, and goo and all of the stuff that the earth creates.
Yes.
You know, because that's how we learn how to I mean, we can intellectually know what it's like. As an example, we can intellectually know what it's like to lose your lover to somebody else and that you are desperately in love with, and suddenly on. Intellectually, we can understand that,
Yeah,
but
we
you
can have
can't understand it emotionally until you go through it.
right.
And it's much worse to go through it than to intellectually understand it.
Right, right. Yeah, and we can have all of those intellectual understandings of so many things, and I think that that's when life is just perfect, it's all intellectual understanding or intellectual understanding or a level of empathy or sympathy saying, "Oh, that would be hard," or "Ooh, that would be a difficult situation." Then you walk through it. Or sometimes too, I do have to say, a lot of times, at least for in my life, when I look at people who'd make decisions that at that time in my life I wouldn't have, I can my default was being quick to judgment. Oh, I would never do that. I would never do that. That is not something that, like, I would never leave the church that I grew up in. I would never do that. And that you must be at a really interesting place in your life to do that. And then, fast forward, years, and I'm doing it. And all of the sudden, the magic of going through hard things is all of the sudden, every part of me softens for people who've experienced that, for people who've navigated that I once judged so harshly. Now I'm like, wow, that is an incredibly brave decision, an incredibly brave choice.
And that's one of the things that I'm glad we're having this discussion, by the way,
Yeah.
because, and by the way, we've been planning to have this discussion for, I don't know, months,
I
years.
know.
No, we,
Years.
I just made this up as we were coming on the air and stuff, but it always turns out really, really well. And but it's it's and I deviated from what I was going to say, and I lost my train of thought. Oh
Okay.
dear, it'll come back. But
Yeah.
so it's important though that we understand. Oh, that's what it was. The judgment thing. That
Mhm.
when you understand judgment and you understand that we don't, number one, we don't have the right or the ability to judge somebody else because we're not walking in their shoes.
Oh,
We're, we've
100%.
not gone down their life experience. And when
Mhm.
we become judgmental of other people, we
Mhm.
become judgmental of ourselves. And that
Mhm.
doesn't work. Does that make sense?
Yes, and that's the fascinating awareness that happened for me in the process is, ooh, my judgments of others are clues to how I would treat myself or talk to myself if I made that decision. Those are the self-criticisms that I get to work through that then free me up to real choice. And I like to say, like, it's so easy to judge from the cheap seats when you're not actually in the arena. It's so easy to judge from the cheap seats when you've never had those experiences. And I think that's part of why, Kevin, we go through hard things is it gives us an opportunity to be more human, to soften how we see life. You think of a young teenager who goes through the they think they know it all phase, right? And they're like, I have this thing. I know about the world, and I know. Do the best is getting parenting advice from people who don't have kids, who are in their young 20s, and not that I don't like take it into consideration, but when they're like, I know better than you, and I'm like, okay, we're talking from the you are not parenting correctly, and you should be doing this, and you're not doing it right. And I'm like, easy from up there in those cheap seats, just watching me just completely bash it out in the arena in play. I'm like in it, and not that I don't believe in like, people have a lot of greatness to offer even if they haven't been through it, but the criticism and the judgment, that's where I'm like, nope, you don't deserve to have weight in this.
You can't intellectually judge somebody for something that you haven't personally experienced yourself, because
Right.
it's hard, and raising 4 kids is really, and especially raising 4 kids on your own, is really, really a challenge. I
Yeah.
don't know how you do it. uh,
Especially yeah, sorry, go ahead, finish.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I think especially, and this is something I've recently talked to a few different other parents about, is especially at this time where our parents in the previous generation, they're like, I didn't have a cell phone until I was in high school.
Right.
My 8-year-old's asking for a cell phone. I don't know. I don't actually really know the repercussions or the ripple effect of that decision. You know, I don't. How do I know how to make the best decision there? Gaming and internet, and my boys are cute little introverts and they love gaming. And so that balance of, we actually don't know the long-term effects of gaming for our children. We don't. We're just barely scratching the surface for that. So how do you navigate the balance as a parent? And really, Kevin, this is why I am so passionate about working with people, is our world is actually forcing us into a place to strengthen our own inner guidance, our own trust in our intuition, that we don't have future information. We don't have everything. Like, my parents can't tell me what it was like for them, parenting growing up and what they did, because I'm experiencing completely different challenges as a parent than they did. And they can give me great information. Again, don't take this black and white, because it's not. But the gist of it is, they parented in a completely different time. And so what I really believe with the internet and all this information, and do this and don't do this, it is required that we learn how to trust our inner guidance and our inner self, to know, to take in information from people, different people, experts. Good, there's great information out there, but to decipher it, and then to know how to act for yourself in your life with your family. That is a skill set that is required of us now, that we must all learn.
I agree, because I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet, my dear, that I am older than your dad is.
I mean, there's potential. I don't actually know how old you are.
I'm 65 years old. How old's your daddy?
It's a close call.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, so he and I are contemporaries.
Yeah.
And we grew our children up in the same type of thing, where you're right. In those days, it was a battle to decide, should we get our teenager, our 13, 14-year-old, a flip phone?
Yeah.
Which was brand new at the time. This is prior to smartphones and computers, and all. This was a flip phone. It was just used for making calls and stuff. And so we were battling with that decision. Now is, do you give your 8-year-old access to everything in the world on the internet without you knowing about it? That's how fast it's going.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're not keeping up, for me as a mom, if I'm not keeping up with understanding what a phone can do and how to do it and all the things, then I don't know that I'm safeguarding my children. And so not only do I have my professional, the things I got to be doing in my life, providing for myself, all those things, but I got to be keeping up to date on technology and all these other areas that my children are now asking to be a part of and choosing into, that I'm not even fully always aware of, that I got to invest that time to know how to educate them, safeguard them, talk to them, have regular conversations. I mean, it's one of those things it's just a fascinating, there's a balance for me. And I have to sometimes just take a deep breath and say, you know what? I'm giving it my best, and my best is enough today. And I'm doing what I can, and I'm learning what I can, and connecting when I can. And I'm not perfect. I am not a perfect mom, but do I care a lot? Do I connect when and where I can? Do I ask questions and get curious with my children? Yeah, I do. I do. Do I make sure that I'm a safe space for them to talk about anything and then they're not going to be judged? Yeah, I do. My 13-year-old, man, he's just the cutest kid. He really is. I feel so lucky. he's constantly mirroring to me, and it's great feedback, like, Mom, I want to tell you something that I haven't told anyone. I am nervous to tell anyone else. I just want to tell you. And my child, I've noticed this pattern that he's been a little more agitated, irritated, on edge. So he comes to me and I'm like, oh, this is the moment. This is what's been brewing. And he comes and he just shares with me all these things that were on his heart and really kind of weighing on him. We talked about it. We reframed it. And he's like a different kid, Sometimes they just need that safe space to chat and to feel like they're going to be okay, with how they're feeling and what they're experiencing. And those are the kinds of things that I have to bring myself back to and remind myself, because that list can get long of all the things I should be doing as a parent,
Well, but you know something? If you can maintain that relationship with that boy, there's a lot of folks that have never been able to do that, don't have that kind of relationship, never have. And it's important that's dictates the fact that you're a good parent. And if you're having been a 13-year-old boy at one point,
yes,
if you're a 13-year-old boy and you can go to your mom and you can talk about anything, that's pretty remarkable. Does he make you blush from time to time?
Yeah, I have to just take a deep breath, I just have to take a deep breath, and I have to remind myself I'm creating a place of safety. And if I stay calm in this moment, then I'm mirroring to him that it's okay, because he's looking to me how to feel about himself. That's what we don't understand in those moments. And it almost can get me slightly emotional. Surprise, surprise. that when someone comes to you and tells you something that they've been hiding, that they don't want to share with anyone else because they're worried about what that would mean about them. They're watching your reaction to know how to feel about themselves. And in those moments, if I can stay calm and just like, tell me more, calm and curious, even though internally, sometimes I do have to take a deep breath because I'm like, okay, I've never navigated this before, or okay, great information. This is new for me. I'm going to take a deep breath. And I really focus on being neutral as possible, of like, thank you so much for telling me. Thank you. Let's talk about this. Let's talk this out and help them become aware of their actions and the ripple effects of those actions, the potential ripple effects, and normalizing that, you're not the only one. There's lots of kids that go through these hard times where all their friends are just kind of mean to them, just kind of say mean, sarcastic things. You're not the only kid out there. And not that it doesn't minimize how you're feeling, but know that there are other kids, and you can look for those kids and you can be their friend and you can help them. And this is a moment where it softens your heart and you're a softer kid because you've gone through that hard thing.
By the way, we're talking with Dana Parker and innerworldmovement.com, correct?
Evolving to Exceptional is actually the new Evolving to Exceptional. It's the new business that I'm a part of, and we're collaborating, and yeah.
We're going to have to talk about that after we get done.
I know.
So we're going to take a break right here, and we're talking with Dana Parker from a brand new venture that she is part of, and we're going to explore that a little bit, and we'll be right back after these messages. Hey there. I'm excited that you're listening right now, and if you like what we're doing here, you're going to love positivetalkradio.net. On positivetalkradio.net, each show, which is recorded live, is packed with positive information, with real people discussing real issues and positive solutions that can work for everyone. I hope that you'll join us on positivetalkradio.net and listen to all 340 plus shows. I think it's worth your time. But then, that's just me. That's positivetalkradio.net, your home for great progressive positive podcasts.
When you want to say more than words communicate, you can with flowers. Your custom boutique floral studio in Bothell, Washington is anaturaldesign.com, connecting you to nature through the language of flowers. Where your people are is where our flowers are beautiful. Your success is our goal. anaturaldesign.com, at your fingertips today.
Hey, my friend, I'd really like to thank you for listening to the show today. As you may know, I started Positive Talk Radio way back in 2003. We were one of the first shows on KKNW. For 11 months, I was fortunate to be part of many lives, making a positive difference with great interviews and discussions, creating new thoughts and ideas. Sadly, for financial reasons, I had to terminate the show. Well, it took 18 years, but we're back better than ever. And not only on KKNW Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but also podcasting with several inspiring channels with the same driving passion as the original. Please visit kmmedia.pro for complete information about all of these shows. In addition, if you feel called to keep positive programming on the air, you can join us by sponsoring the show and aligning yourself with our mission, which is nothing short of saving the planet and each other. Again, that's kmmedia.pro. I'll see you there. And welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. I don't know why I do that. Anyway,
I love it.
we're here to talking with Dana Parker. And before we get going, I got to tell you something. And I got to tell our listener audience something that we don't often get a chance to do the math because that wasn't my best subject in school. But we did the math, and you know what we discovered, Dana?
What?
We have touched more than, between Positive Talk, the radio show, the podcast, the Instagram, the YouTube, and all of the components, we've touched more than 300,000 lives.
Wow.
In the course of 2 years. So if you're looking for a way to reach a larger audience, we can help you do that. And so whether it be on Positive Talk Radio, the radio show, or the podcast, or any one of the other things that we do, and we do everything in-house, we create everything and all that. So 300, I was standing there beside myself, 300,000.
Yeah.
300 the people that we've touched. It really was pretty remarkable. And you are on to a brand new venture. Let's talk about what you're doing now.
It's true. I'm really excited about it, Kevin. So I've had this desire in my heart for a while to kind of venture out into the corporate world, really helping people with the concepts and tools that I've learned in the corporate setting and in the workplace. And so because of this heart's desire, I met a friend through a mastermind that we were in. And we've been connecting over the last, I think, almost 2 years now. And we're going into year 2. And we recently came together, and she went to school and trained to be a lawyer. She got out of school, started working for a company, worked as a huge role in HR and leadership development and talent management of the company, and developed some incredible programs for herself and for this company, and now has come out of corporate world and is doing coaching and leadership development. So we've come together because Jessica, her name is Jessica Tejan, and you can find us at evolvingtoexceptional.com. Jessica really has a passion for evolving individuals to live exceptional lives. And so do I. And the dynamic duo that we are, she comes from the corporate business world with a lot of background in leadership. And I come from personal development. And so we bring our skill sets together with the life coaching, the personal development, and the leadership development to create a really dynamic package. Yesterday we met with an individual, a woman who's been in leadership for 20 plus years in her industry. And she said, everyone's always telling me and teaching me how to lead others. No one's ever taught me how to do that for myself. Because she said she goes to bed at night with these voices, this imposter, who do you think you are? And what's so exciting is that this is a very dynamic program and a very dynamic approach of each individual in the workplace is a whole individual. They have the personal aspect and they have the work aspect, and we bring those together in our programs and in our coaching to create a really dynamic experience for individuals.
You know, it used to be years ago, way back in the mists of time, when you could have a company that would say, all right, you're an employee and you're here and you're 8 hours a day, and that's all I care about. You do your job 8 hours a day, and I don't care about anything else. I don't care about your home life. I don't care whether you're making enough money. I don't care of any of that stuff because you're just an employee. Those days, fortunately, are ending because people are recognizing that you have to deal with the whole person. That you can't divide people up by their professional life and their personal life and their sexual life and their financial life, and it's all one. It's all
they
the
all
same
affect each other.
And it's
Absolutely.
the same. I'm on a roll here. It's the
I love this.
the same concept that we as a global community are all one, and as an individual we are all one. We are not the sum of our parts. We are the parts. We are the whole thing together. So I love what you're doing. I think that's great.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's an area that I am really excited to bring my expertise to, and I love what Jessica's about. I love what I'm about, and how we can bring that together to really create. And it's really about deepening the confidence of leaders, because leaders can come off as confident, but internally they can be shaking in their boots. And so it's a matter of really helping people understand how to deepen that confidence to be more real, and to take people through how to upgrade their interactions with people, upgrade how they receive feedback, how they give feedback, how accountability happens, how expectation conversations happen, and really bringing that human perspective into play in the workplace to bring more heart into the workplace.
You know, it's interesting because there's a coach in the National Football League that coaches one of the teams that I'm familiar with, and that would be Pete Carroll. And his philosophy is exactly what you're talking about. And his philosophy is, my job as head coach and head of the organization is to make everybody in this organization be the best absolute person that they can be, that they can get to where they want to go, given their hope, dreams. And that's my job, is to facilitate that. And what he's found over time, because he's been a very successful coach, is that not only does that work well, but it creates dynamic results.
Yeah, it does. That's for sure. It creates results, unlike the opposite, where we're separate, where you're just here to produce results for my company. That mentality, and you have to work the 9 to 5, and you have to produce, and you are like a number. That mentality is over for very good reason, in that people don't have to. This is the cool thing, Kevin. People don't have to work in the corporate world anymore, because of the internet, because of what people can do, because of what they have access to. There's so many possibilities of ways to bring in income that they don't have to work in corporate world anymore. What does that mean? That means the corporate world has to learn the elements that keep people happy and working and performing on a positive level, from a positive perspective, not punishment. I'm going to take your pay away or fire you, whatever. No, we got to learn how to motivate people in a different way and connect with people in a different way, and bring that human element back so that you can retain your employees.
Because especially now, I don't know, do you follow the unemployment numbers at all?
I briefly talked about it with Jeremy yesterday, but tell me.
Today, the unemployment, or the new job report comes out every month, and the one from January came out. 500,000 new jobs were created in January, and the jobless rate went down to the lowest point since 1971. When I was 13, it's as low as that. And it's because people are switching. companies are having to recognize now that with the unemployment rate so low, they can't pick and choose. They have to keep good people. You can't let.
Mhm.
I always preach that if you let a good person leave your organization, it's going to take you 5 hires, to replace that good person in your organization.
Mhm. Mhm.
It would be much better if you treated them civilly, positively, and
Mhm.
to help them become the person that they can be and stuff
Mhm.
like that. I want to join your organization. I think that we would
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah. Yes. No, this is exactly what we're talking about. It's actually vital. If you're going to stay a business, if you're going to stay thriving, you have to evolve. You have to evolve, and that's that. Hence the name, Evolving to Exceptional. That is our mission: is to help as many workplaces evolve their cultures and evolve their approach so that they can keep, retain, and create some of the happiest employees, happiest members of their team, to really create satisfying results and make a difference in the way that they want. And I'm talking profits too. Statistically, as they're studying this, the happier your employees, it's directly connected to profits.
You've convinced me. I'm a pupil. I'm a disciple
Yes, I love
because
it.
I ran a restaurant in Federal Way called Garcia's of Scottsdale in Federal Way, and it was a $2 million property. And when I got there, the unemployment rate or the turnover rate was 300%, which
Mhm.
means we turned people over three people for every position in the restaurant over the course of a year. And I said, that's unsustainable. You can't do that. Um, and so we had a meeting with the staff, and I introduced myself and I said, why do you think I'm here? And they said, well, you're the manager and you're going to be, I don't know. And I said, no, my job is to make you as much money as possible.
Mm.
Every person here to make as much money as possible. And how do we do that? By creating better food, by creating better service, by making sure the place is clean, by doing all the things to make our place a better place than the next guy down the road. And we will all collectively, we will all make more. They bought into that, Dana, because they were going, well, crap, I'm going to make more money. I can
Yeah.
live with that. That won't hurt.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
I love what you're doing with that because that you're working with people at their core. They want to be accepted. They want to be loved. They want to do well. It really is cool. So congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about it. We have some really, really incredible opportunities, offerings. Again, evolvingtoexceptional.com. You can find some of those things that we're doing. We're bringing emotional intelligence to the table, and we're bringing lots of incredible elements that I think are a really necessary skill sets right now for our world.
The world is changing a lot. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, tons. That's the one thing that we can count on in this world. Change.
It's amazing. I was looking at my computer. There's now AI.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with a chat
You
from
were the third person that brought this up today. Number 3 today. Wow. Our 15-year-old, Jeremy and I, the 15-year-old brought it up today, this morning. And then I had another chat with a client just before this call that brought it up. Now you're bringing it up. This is fascinating.
Have you
Okay,
looked at it? Have you looked at it yet?
No, just like a brief scratch the surface. I haven't in depth.
It is like it's what it does is it's a app for your phone, and you type in a question of what you'd like to have answered, and it goes out, searches the internet, and it finds the best answers for that, categorizes them, brings them back, and presents it to you.
What is this called?
Hold on, I will.
Yeah, get it.
I hate to do this, make the commercial for these people, but let's see. Thanks for filling in. Oh, okay, good. Yeah. It is called, and I highly recommend people look at it. Open Chat AI Chatbot. ChatBot.
Perfect.
and you download it, and
Right.
you can actually come up with some very interesting things. Like I typed in yesterday. I typed in. By the way, I haven't told you this part yet, but I'm doing shorts of,
Uh-huh.
and we're calling Kevin quotes, and
Oh, I love it.
they're on YouTube, and they're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram
Is it on Positive Talk Radio?
and it's on Positive Talk Radio. No, I haven't. I got to put it on Positive Talk Radio. Is what I got to
Okay.
do.
Okay.
But it's on the web. It's on the YouTube. But so I was looking for how can you be aware that of gratitude, and
Mm,
so I typed in gratitude awareness. This is what it came back with. Gratitude is a feeling of thankfulness and happiness for what we have. It can be practiced every day, and it can help improve our moods, relationships, and well-being. This is the dang computer that came up with that.
wow. Wow.
And so it, again, we've made another quantum leap to doing
Right.
something that is so
Right.
now when you think about it, authorship is going to change.
Oh, yeah.
Your ability to write is going to change. Your ability
Yeah.
to think critically is going to change. Everything.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it really is.
Again, we don't understand the ripple effect, that Jeremy's 15-year-old this morning was like, yeah, you can put in a topic or a subject and it'll write a whole paper for you on it. And I'm like, what?
Yep.
Like, schools are going to have to change. You just type in the topic and you get a whole paper. And he's like, the paper was actually really good. Like, I just put in a topic and the paper was actually really well done. And I was like, wow, we're going to have to change things.
Yeah. The problem is
Yeah.
that the teacher doesn't know the difference between a really well written thing, unless they compare what he used to write like versus what he's writing like now.
It's true.
But it's so. But then the knowledge base is just growing exponentially. So that's
yeah.
And so what I'm doing is, I figured out, Dana, and not to toot my own horn, but I've been doing this a long time. I've talked to a lot of people. I talked to Neil Donald Walsh 3 or 4 times, Gary Zukav, lots of people like you, great thought leaders of the country. So I really do have something to say, and I should be saying it.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm so glad you do this, Kevin. And it makes me so happy to see your growth, to see things moving, to see you back on air. All of the things makes my heart so happy, because I agree. Our world deserves more positive talk. We deserve to have it, to reframe our brains to see this world differently in a better light.
It is necessary at this point in time, because there is so much. We could be talking about satellites in the sky and all sorts of things that don't serve us. But the reality is the conversation that we started with. Think about how wide ranging this conversation has been today.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of like the first of the call between you and Nathan. Just kidding. Yeah, there's been such a variety of topics. No, I love it. I agree.
And it is important. And I'm glad that we got to the point about living your experiences, even if what you're going through appears to be like a bad country music song. And which by the way, I've been through that, and it will end.
Yeah.
I promise.
And if you want support through that, if you're experiencing that and you want support through that, reach out for help. There are coaches everywhere. And that's when you want a coach. You want a coach to give you perspective on how to navigate through something you've never navigated through. Someone that can really help love you through it and help bring in new perspectives, but also how you feel is valid. Both matter in the process. Both matter as you're moving through things. And the valuable thing about a coach too is when you have a coach that's teaching you, hopefully a good coach will teach you how to fish versus giving you a fish. A good coach will teach you skills that you can use again and again and again in your life and throughout your life, so you can build a confidence that you can get through anything. That's what a good coach does. in my opinion. And that's what you want to look for.
No, I could agree more. And a good coach will, and they will make it clear that that's the intent of their mission.
Yeah.
And that they don't want you to be coming to see them for the rest of your life, because they want you to fly, little birdie, fly.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And if you can get that done, then, but having a coach is, and I would recommend, like, if you want to contact Dana, how do they contact you? By going to the website?
Yeah, evolvingtoexceptional.com, and you can set up a discovery session there. Absolutely. I'm also innerworld.dana on Instagram, and you can find me Dana Parker on Facebook.
So you can excuse me. So you can contact her, and you can become one of the people that she coaches. She really is phenomenal. So, and thank you for coming here and talking with me today. Will you be back next week?
Yeah. Yes, let's do it.
I want that in writing.
I know. Yes. Yeah, let's also get Matthew back on.
I was so disappointed that he couldn't be here today, but
I know.
He provided us with something that was also important. So I really appreciate all my guests, and I've got so many new coming on that I have to tell you this story. I've got a couple minutes. Had a guest on Monday. His name is Michael Schnabel. He wrote a book called Daddy's Girl. Think about this, his 27-year-old daughter, pregnant, had a baby, had to have it early, 3 weeks early, because she was having physical problems. They discovered she had colon cancer. They told her she had 8% chance of living. Her father, her husband, her mother, and they all got together and they worked as a unit, as one, and for a 5-year struggle. And they actually had a doctor tell them, "We're going to take you to the brink of death, but you're a young woman. We're going to take you to the brink of death, and then we're going to bring you back." She is now, I had them on the show on Monday. She is now 11 years cancer free. We interviewed the 17-year-old boy now, who was just a baby, and dad and stuff. And those are the remarkable stories that we are telling. It really is. It's fun for me to do, and it's remarkable. And you're even getting a little teary-eyed with that.
I know. Hits close to home.
I know.
With one of our own who we recently found out about cancer, and so that just, I love that, and thank you. And that's why for people like me who have life hit them in the face with hard things, then there's places like this, Kevin, where I can come and I can go and listen to that podcast now, and I can receive hope, and I can receive encouragement and inspiration for my own life. So thank you.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Again, how do they get a hold of you again?
evolvingtoexceptional.com, Instagram, innerworld.dana, and Facebook, Dana Parker.
Oh, very, very good. And no. So, Dana, we've just got a minute and a half or so left. I would like you to tell our audience anything that you would like them to know, those that are listening now and those that will be listening in the future.
Hope. Hope is an expectation of good things to come. It's not just a wishy-washy word, but hope. We all deserve it. We all need it in our life. And if you don't have somebody who can bring that into your life and light that back up, reach out for help, reach out for support, because bringing that back into your life, an expectation of good things to come, will make all the difference for you and in how you perceive everything that comes into your life, which makes a difference in your health, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So reach out, listen to Positive Talk Radio, listen to previous podcasts Kevin has done, and make your life better one step, one day at a time.
That's all you got, is one day at a time.
Yeah.
I did a short about that said tomorrow's gone no, yesterday's gone, tomorrow may never come. So all you have is today.
Right now.
Don't waste it. To live your best life. And by the way, coming up at 2:00 today on Positive Talk Radio, the podcast on YouTube, Kim Lang will be here, and she's got a program that she calls Nuggets of Hope. What she does, she takes a rock and she paints hope on the rock and then gives it to people. It says, today's your nugget of hope. And so we're going to be talking about that. So, Dana, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it.
Kevin.
You are just awesome. And by the way, be kind to one another, because you know what? Each other's all we got. We'll see you Monday at 3:00.